Let's start the chapter, the fundamental unit of life. So what is the fundamental unit of life? The cell is the fundamental and structural unit of life. So it was discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. How? When he saw the internal structure of the cork with the help of the microscope, it looked like compartments, tiny compartments. So earlier then, cells were named as compartments, but later on it was replaced by the term cell. He saw cell with a device which was known as microscope, and it was discovered by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Cell theory. Cell theory was given by Schleiden and Schwann. According to it, cell is the structural unit of life. Number 2, cell is the functional unit of life. And Rudolf Virchow added one more thing, that all the living beings, they exist from the pre-existing living beings. Next is cell shape, size and the shape of the cell may be fixed or may change. Example of variable shapes are white blood cells and amoeba. Shape of the cell can be spherical or spindle shaped. Spherical examples are eggs of many animals, and spindle shaped are smooth muscle fibers. Elongated are the nerve cells. Kidney shaped are the stomatas, and RBC yani red blood cells are the discoid shaped. Cell sizes may vary. Mycoplasmas are the smallest cells, whereas the ostrich egg cells are the largest cells. In man, RBCs are the smallest, whereas nerve cells are the longest cells. Organisms based on the number of cells can be classified into two groups: multicellular, that are made up of more than one cell, and unicellular, that are made up of single cells. Multicellular organisms begins life as a single cell, which is fertilized egg, and it multiplies in numerous cells as the development proceeds. Whereas unicellular is a single-celled organism, performs all the necessary functions that multicellular organisms perform. These are the structures or the types of the cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So the main difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells are that prokaryotic very small in size, but whereas eukaryotic cells are large in size. Prokaryotic cells nuclear regions not surrounded by the nuclear membranes, and nucleolus is absent, whereas in eukaryotic cells nuclear region surrounds by a nuclear membrane and nucleolus is present. In prokaryotic cells, membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. In eukaryotic cells, membrane-bound organelles are present. And in cell division occurs by fission or budding in case of the prokaryotic cells, whereas cell division occurs by mitosis or meiosis in the eukaryotic cells. Now, components of cells. There are three basic components of the cells. First is the plasma membrane, second is the nucleus, and third is the cytoplasm. Plasma membranes. These are microscopic membranes which forms the external boundary of a cell. The main function is to allow the flow of limited substances in and out of the cell. So cell membrane is also called the plasma membrane. It is a limiting boundary of each cell which separates the cytoplasm from its surrounding. It is found in both plants as well as in animal cells. It is made up of proteins and lipids. Plasma membrane is selectively permeable nature. It allows or permits the entry and exit of some materials in and out of the cell. It is flexible and can be folded, broken or reunited. So again we can say that functions of plasma membrane is to regulate the movement of molecules inside and outside the cell, and also it helps in maintaining the distinct composition of the cell. In some cells like plant cells, the outermost covering is the cell wall. It is absent in the animal cell. It is rigid, strong, thick and is made up of cellulose. The cell wall is a structural layer that surrounds some type of cells situated outside the cell membrane, and functions are protect the plasma membrane, determines the shape, provides definite shape to the cell, provides strength to the cell. It is permeable and allows the entry of molecules of different sizes, and it has the characteristic of repair and regeneration. Nucleus. Nucleus is dense and spherical organelle. It carries cells' genetic material. It is bounded by two membranes forming a nuclear envelope, and the functions are that it plays central role in cellular reproduction and also the powerhouse of genes. So nucleus is the most important cell organelle which directs and controls all its cellular activities. It is called as headquarters of the cell. It was discovered by Robert Brown. The functions again are it controls all the metabolic activities of the cell and regulates the cell cycle. It helps in transmission of hereditary characters from parents to the offsprings. Cytoplasm is the liquid part in which the other organelles float. It is mainly composed of water, salts, and proteins. The organelles such as mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, and the chloroplasts are contained in the cytoplasm. So it is the part of protoplasm which surrounds the nucleus. Cell organelles are specialized parts of the cell which performs different functions inside the cell. These cell organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, vacuoles, and plastids. Let's start with the endoplasmic reticulum. It is a network of tube-like structures from nuclear membrane to plasma membrane. So there are two types of endoplasmic reticulums: rough endoplasmic reticulums on which ribosomes are present, and smooth endoplasmic reticulums on which ribosomes are absent. So functions are that it gives internal support to the cell, it transports proteins and works as a cytoplasmic framework. It also helps in the detoxification and in the membrane biogenesis. Next is Golgi apparatus. It is also known as Golgi body or the Golgi complex. It was discovered by Camillo Golgi in 1843. And the functions of Golgi bodies are that it stores, modify and dispatch the substances, and it helps in the formation of the lysosomes. Lysosomes. These are formed by Golgi bodies. These are small, spherical, sac-like structures mostly found in the eukaryotic cells. Their function is to help in the digestion of foreign substances. They help to clean the cell. Next is the mitochondria. Mitochondria are small rod-shaped organelles. It is double membrane structures. It is also called the powerhouse of the cell as it stores ATP. Functions are that it provides energy for vital activities of the cell. They store energy in the form of ATP and releases it during the reactions. Vacuoles are storage sacs for solid and liquid contents, provide turgidity and rigidity to the cell. Their function is to important substances like amino acid sugars are stored in the vacuoles. Their outer membrane is called tonoplast, which is very important. Plastids are present only in the plant cells. They are of three types: chloroplasts, chromoplasts, and leucoplasts. Chloroplasts have chlorophyll in them and they provide green color to the plants. Chromoplasts are the colored plastids, and leucoplasts are white and colorless plastids. Functions are that it involved in either manufacture or storage of the food, and it also provides color to the cells. Now the difference between the two eukaryotic cells, animal cell and plant cells. Plant cells contains chloroplast for photosynthesis, whereas animals they don't have. Plant cells have a cell wall to maintain structure and rigidity, whereas animal cells lack cell wall. Plant cells show limited movements, whereas cell can move around in animal cell. Cells are and rigid or geometric shape in plant cells, whereas animal cells, the cells are fluid and flexible and many shapes because they lack cell wall. Here is a diagram of plant cell and animal cell. Hope you have understood the chapter. Have a nice day.